Welcome to PR Learning Lab. My name is Belide Aakash, and in this tutorial you will be learning about some of the tools used in Adobe Photoshop. In the previous tutorials we have learned about some of the selection tools, brush tool and many other tools. If you haven't watched the previous tutorials, you can find the link in the description below. Before we get started, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications. We have learnt about many tools available in Photoshop in our previous tutorials. In this tutorial, I would like to say some tips which will help you in the future. So the first thing I am going to tell you is how to resize a photo or a layer in Photoshop. So to do this, first use the move tool here and then just select the layer which you want to resize. After clicking on the layer, hit Ctrl T. When you click Ctrl T, you can see this squares which formed on the edges of the layer. To resize, now you can directly go to the corners or edge and then just drag. As you can see, I can resize the layer in the way I want to. And if you want to save this change, just click enter. And if you want to revert this change, click Ctrl Z. Suppose you want to resize the image or layer in a particular ratio, then click Ctrl T, then go to the edge or corner and then click Shift. When you click Shift, it resizes in a particular ratio. Here, as the image is in square shape, the resizing happens in square shape. Suppose you want to resize this according to this length, that is like this. Click Shift and you can see when I'm doing this from the edge, it is decreasing in a ratio. But when I do this without clicking Shift, you can see what happens. So this is what happens if you don't click Shift and try to resize the image. Suppose you want to resize the image according to a particular center. Let me click Ctrl T on this layer. Then if I want to resize this image according to this center, which is default, just click Shift and Alt and then go to this edge and then just drag it. Now you can see it is resizing only according to this center. Now I am clicking enter. Changes is saved. And now I want to go back to the original document. Now I'll be clicking Ctrl Z. Suppose you want to resize according to a center which you want to position here. So click Ctrl T, then press Alt, and you can see there's an option beside the mouse pointer which says the position tracker. And now I'll be clicking here. Now the center of the image is here. Now I'll be clicking Shift Alt, and you can see the resize happens according to the center which has been set outside. Now I'm changing back to the original file. Now if you want to rotate the image, you can do this by clicking Ctrl T, going to the edge, and here you can see a curved arrow which occurs. You can just rotate it like this, any way possible, like in any angle you want, any random angle. But if you want to rotate it in specific angles, click Ctrl T, then hold Shift and then rotate it. As you can see, it rotates only in 15 degrees angle, that is 0, 15, 45, 60, 75, 90. This is because we are clicking the Shift key, else it would have been something like this, that is any angle possible without any restriction. In real world scenarios, you might be using scales or rulers in order to measure or draw lines or something of that sort. In Photoshop, we can use the same rulers. To make use of the rulers, you have to press Ctrl R and you can see these tabs open. And if you want to make use of a ruler, you have to go to this or this and then just drag it and you can see a line appearing. Just drag it and keep wherever you want. For now I'm keeping it right here on our team. And one more ruler. You can take as many rulers as possible, it is up to you. And then left, and you can see the x-axis which is pointing the ruler position, and another one here. So Rulers are very important in Photoshop in order to make drawings or use pen tools, which we'll be learning in the future ahead. And rulers can also be useful in order to make certain selections. Now let me take this rectangular marquee tool and then just select according to the rulers which I have positioned. It automatically fits according to the ruler which have been set, and then leave. Now I'll right click on this and then layer via copy. Now let me get back to the original file. In order to remove the rulers, click move tool, that is V, and then take them back to the edges, and then that's all, they disappear. So let me delete this layer in order to get the original file. Sometimes you want to make selections which might be difficult to make. Suppose, let me show you an example. I'll take this magnetic lasso tool and then I'll just select his hair. For that, first I'll select this layer and then I'll just select his hair using this. And then that's it. Here I have selected the hair using the magnetic lasso tool. They seem to be easy, but suppose you wanted to select the external part, that is everything except his hair. To do that, you have to press Ctrl Shift I, and now you can see it has selected everything other than his hair. Ctrl Shift I is used to invert a selection or invert a color or invert anything which you have made in Photoshop. Now let me right click on this and then layer via cut and use the move tool, and you can see clearly that the other part remaining other than his hair has been selected using Ctrl Shift I. So let me revert this change by clicking Ctrl Z, and then as I want to deselect this, I'll be clicking Ctrl D. Then suppose I will be choosing now his hair using the magnetic lasso tool. Magnetic lasso tool is one of the most powerful selection tools which we can use. Now here I have made the selection and his hair is black. But suppose I want to make it white or the opposite color of the color which is right now of the hair. Now I'll right click on his hair, then layer via cut and click V. Now I selected his hair, that is the layer. So I want to change the color of his hair. So I'll be clicking just Ctrl I. You can see the hair color has turned the opposite, that is the opposite of this color. Let me explain you in other way. So let me select his tie. Now right click on this and then layer via cut. Now I'll be making use of move tool, that is V, and then Ctrl I, and you can see it has changed to the opposite color. Now let me show you another example for better understanding. Now I'll click on this layer and then select her collar. So I'll click on this layer and then select her collar like this, and then without making any layer via cut or layer via copy, I'll just click Ctrl I, and you can see it has turned black, that is opposite of the earlier color which was white. Now I'll just deselect it, and now you can see the change has been saved. So let me get back to the original file. In the previous tutorial you have learnt till the eraser tool. So let me continue and teach you about the other tools. The next tool you will be learning is the paint bucket tool. Paint bucket tool helps in filling a part of the layer or an image in a particular color, which automatically detects the edges and fills that part of the area with the color we have selected. Let me select the color from here. Let me select and make this to green. Yeah, this seems fine. And then let me change the color of the specs. I'll just zoom in little bit for your understanding. I have already chosen the paint bucket tool, and then I'll just click on this, and you can see clearly the specs color has been changed. Now let me just change the color of this specs. I'll choose red, and then here you go. So paint bucket tool can be used for many purposes. Suppose I want to change the color of this hair color into this hair color. So in the previous tutorial you have learnt about the ink picker tool. Let me click on this and then choose this color. Now let me click on the paint bucket tool and then change the color of this hair by clicking on this. As you can see, it has changed the color of this person's hair. Now suppose I want to change the color of this person's mustache. Just click on this. So this is how you make use of paint bucket tool. So let me get back to the original file. So the next tool we'll be going to learn is the blur tool. Blur tool, as the name suggests, helps in blurring a part of the layer of the image selected. Suppose I want to blur a part of the image, that is here, as it says our team. I'll just click and just make use of this tool. I will be just dragging and you can see that this region has become blurry. Now you can't clearly see our team. The more times you drag, the more blurry it becomes. Sometimes you may want to select a part of the region which is not blurry and make the background blurry. Let me make use of the magic tool and then select this person here. And now let me press right click and then layer via cut. Now as you can see there are two layers. Now I want to perform blur on the background. So I'll make use of the blur tool and then increase the brush size by going here and increasing the brush size, or you can just press the right square button on your keyboard and here you go. Before that, let me select this layer. Now I'll be selecting this blur tool and now I'll be blurring this background. Here you can clearly see that this selected region is clear and the background is totally blurry. We have made use of selection tool and blur tool to make the image into this sort. Photoshop helps similarly to make many changes in our images, and we'll be learning all about it in all the tutorials which are going to come ahead. Let me get this back to the original file. The next tool we'll be learning is the dodge tool. Dodge tool helps in lightening a part of the area or the layer which we have selected. Suppose I want to make this face light, or that is make his skin color little more bright. So I'll make use of the dodge tool and then just drag it right here and you can clearly see his skin tone has changed. That is, it became a bit white or brighter. I can do the same thing with the skin color or skin tone. Right here I'm just dragging it and you can see how it changes. Dodge tool helps usually in the images which have been clicked naturally, that is clicked in your camera, rather than vector images like this. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Please like and share this tutorial and also subscribe to our channel.